Hello everyone, I'm GCROCK and this is my first Rainbow Six extraction video. I'm a little bit late with it, but it was because I wanted to get more and more information to put into this video for you. I didn't want to rush it and give you kind of like a half-assed video. I wanted to play every single mode, get everything unlocked, and give you as much information as I can. It's kind of like a beginner's guide / overview, and I'm aiming to give some beginners some tips on how you should focus your time on this game. Give you some tips to make it a little bit easier for you. I've got future content planned to do that as well, with some guides and whatnot. But if you don't have the game yet, I'm aiming to explain the game to you as well, so you can make a decision on whether to get it or not. This is free on Xbox Game Pass right now, well, included, should I say. And if you've got Xbox Game Pass, I highly recommend that you download this and give it a go. It's so much fun. I'll be explaining my views as we go through this video as well, and my opinions on the game. So before we do get into it, as always, please do hit like and share on the video if you do find today's video enjoyable. Subscribe to the channel for more content from me. As I said, I will be doing more Rainbow Six extraction content. I got a few videos planned and I cover other games as well, so hit that sub button. And if you need people to play with this game, one of my top tips is to play with other people. Solos can be done and is great fun, but teamwork on this game and working with others is definitely going to be needed for the tougher end game content. So come and join our community. We've got a load of people playing this. It is cross-play as well. You can play with people on PC, PS, Xbox, no matter what people are playing on. And the link's at the top of the video description. So once you're done with today's video, if you need people to play with, click that link, come and check it out. So first, I want to give you a very quick overview of the game and explain what sort of genre and type this game is. If you want to skip this, I have put timestamps down in the video description. You can scroll along the timeline of this video. You can skip this overview out, but I'm using World War Z to explain this because I do put this into this sort of type of game. Now, World War Z, it's a zombie horde game mode, okay? It's completely different in a way, but the kind of like mechanics around how the game works is similar, and Rainbow Six has put the Rainbow Six Extraction has put its own sort of spin on it. So unlike World War Z, you get levels or episodes and you basically go through the mission, you got objectives to do, and the idea of the game is you start off on the difficulty easy, you level up characters so you can unlock special abilities, you can make them stronger, and in doing that you can then go back to the mission and do it at a harder difficulty. And the aim, I guess, the overall end aim of this game is to be able to complete every single one of these missions on the highest difficulty setting. Now moving over to Rainbow Six Extraction, and we can see a similar sort of setup. They do it their own way and we will explain that, and it's not a zombie horde mode, so it is entirely different. But as I said, the set, you've got like missions here, we've got cities, we've got New York City, we've got San Francisco, Alaska, Truth or Consequences. And if we go on New York and we set up a mission here, we're able to set the difficulty. You can see over on the right here, threat level, moderate. That's the game's easy mode. And when you start out, all of your operators you can choose from are going to be at level 1. So you'll have it recommends when you go on to the mission, it gives you like a recommended level for your operators, and for moderator it is level 1 to 3. To go up a difficulty, you then recommended to go from 3+ to 6+ to 8+. So the idea again is to go through these missions and objectives on the easier difficulties to level up your characters, to get all the unlocks, to make them more powerful, so that you can come back then to play all these missions on the harder difficulties. Now, as I said, the gameplay on this game is completely different to that of World War Z. It's not really a zombie horde mode, although they do kind of have a sort of mode we'll get on in a bit that does that. But you're going to be going in with your team or solo. You can matchmake as well. And you're going to be given random objectives. Every single time you go in, it doesn't matter what location you choose, you're going to be given different objectives. I'm going to put up on screen now this image here showing you 3 objectives that I'm getting given to go into a particular mission, and I'm given a biopsy objective, a specimen, and a sabotage. Now there's around, I want to say like 8 or 9 different objectives you can get, and one of the objectives is tied to the more higher difficulty settings rather than the easiest one, but they're completely random, and you're going to get a random 3 objectives every single time you go in, which really does give you a different game every time you go in, and a tons of replayability. So you're going to go in, you're going to be given this mission. We're now currently on biopsy on screen now, and you're in one given area. It's like a small little map. You've got to complete that objective within 15 minutes. And if you're successful, you then have a choice whether to extract and kind of bank in your XP, or you can go to the next sort of waypoint to move on to the second area. Every single like incursion has 3 areas for you to go through, and each one of those objectives is tied to each area, and it progressively gets more difficult as you go. So the first area might not have as many aliens spawning in, the second area will have more, the third area will have the most, and it does get more difficult. And you've got to look at your health bar and manage your health bar, because you've got to make decisions based off of that. And if you think you can do the next objective, you might get through 2 areas and feel you got to extract now, so you're going to go and bank that XP, or you might think, hell, let's risk it and see if we can get the third area done to get even more XP. But you do risk losing your operators if you do this. On screen now, just for the purpose of this video, Raddy's got to go down for me. And if anybody goes down, if they've not got to revive to pick themselves back up and you let them bleed out, what happens is the operator kind of has this like masking, which is this yellow foam that goes all over their body that keeps them safe. So, you know, in the game, they don't die. And what happens is the aliens can like take your operator and they try to consume them or turn them into an alien. I don't know what they're doing, but you have an option when someone goes down. So I'm going to let Raddy bleed out now. He is now KO'd, and you'll see that yellow foam cover his body. So he's now protected. And while on this mission, if I'm in the middle of a lot of aliens or whatnot, I'm going to make a decision whether I just get out myself or I carry my teammate out with me. You can see that here. I'm putting him inside this, which we call the sunbed. And when I extract it, will bring the operator with me, and Raddy will get that operator back in his like inventory, but they will be injured. If I leave them on the mission, however, we then have to go back in on another incursion, and an MIA rescue, an MIA operator rescue mission will be added. So as you can see here, we're doing that mission. We've just gone and grabbed the body that we left behind, and we then need to extract it. Now what will happen is when you do die on a mission and you're left behind, any XP gained during that incursion is going to be stored on that character. You'll notice on your XP bar that there'll be like a red part of the bar, where if you fail to go back in and get your operator, you're going to lose all of that XP. You can actually go down in levels. So it's definitely worthwhile going back in and getting your operator out, because that will restore that XP that is on that operator. And management of your operators is going to be important, and it makes you change through the different operators that they have. You start with only so many. I think you get this first row here and the first 3 on this one, and you've got to unlock the next 9. So you unlock these 3 here as you level up to a certain level, then these 3 unlock, and then these 3 unlock at the, I think it's something like level 17. So you got to level up your own level to get everybody unlocked. And as you can see here, Lion, he's injured at the minute. I took him in, I managed to get him out, whether it's that as dead on low health or we went and rescued him, and now he cannot be used in my next incursion. We actually got to restore his HP. And after every incursion, you do get like an XP bonus, a HP bonus, as well as an XP, depending on how well you do. And that HP will feed back to your operators to get them all healthy again, so that you can use them again. And that's basically how the mechanics works. It's a great spin on the game, and it does get you playing with all the different characters that are available, and it makes you want to level up as many as you can. And I highly recommend that, because there's so many cool perks to different characters that are going to help you on these incursions and what the game wants you to do. And that is pretty much Rainbow Six Extraction in a nutshell. You do have this progression system here. This is what you're going to be working through. You're going to start all the way at level 0, and then you work your way through this. And it's got 30 levels in total, and they're going to be giving you unlocks every time you level up, whether that's operators, new cities to go to, or missions, and the end game content. I pretty much have everything unlocked at 22. I'm 80% through the game right now, but I still have more unlocks to go. Still got abilities to unlock, and we've still got new entries, data entries to unlock, which is a tech. It's kind of like the law, not the tech, sorry, the codex. It's kind of like the lore of the game, and you'll be unlocking this as you go through your levels and as you're completing all of the objectives within a mission. That's something else they do very well as doing like the incursion objectives. When you go onto each city, so let's go to Alaska that I'm currently on, you have studies that you need to complete as well. So I'm currently on this study where I've got to obliterate a lurker with its weak points, I've got to uncloak a lurker with react tech or operate abilities, and I've got to uncloak non-lurker Archeans. I don't know how to pronounce that. But yeah, so these are also going to give you unlock some more XP towards your overall XP progression, and they're very worthwhile doing, and it counts towards the 100% game completion as well. You can see I've done 100% on New York and San Francisco, currently working on Alaska, and then I move on to truth or consequences. So next, what is the end game? So once you've unlocked all your operators, you got to level 10 on most of them or all of them, you got 100% game completion, all of your studies are 100% complete across all of these. Well, the end game really is the protocol missions, and you've also got assignments here. Assignments is actually, once you get enough operators at a high level, is the fastest way to gain XP, by the way. We completed one of these the other day. It's got to be done in a 3-man team, this one, so it will matchmake if needed. The threat level is critical, so you're going to want operators at over level 8, 10 preferably. And this is kind of like the zombie horde mode. When you go in, it's not about stealth. This game, I forgot to mention already, but it's very much about stealth. The more stealthy you can be, the better, the easier it's going to be. If you're going to be alerting the aliens all the time, you're going to make it more difficult for yourself. Well, this mode is not that. There's no stealth to it. There's going to be objectives that play out the same as the other missions do, but you're just going to get hordes of aliens every so often. You hear kind of like a sound, hordes will come at you, and you're going to manage these hordes while you're doing the objectives. So it does change it up a little bit on this mode, and it's super, super fun. So we've been playing that, and if you can't, I think there's 5 objectives overall on this mission. You do need to go through, you do have the decision to extract again as normal or continue on, and if you get through all of the objectives, you do get a nice healthy XP boost. Now, apart from that is the protocol. These will change as well. You can see there's a timer on both of them. I think every week they're going to update, and it'll refresh to give more replayability, so you're not doing the same thing all the time. But with the protocol, this is a little bit different in a way where it only gives you a selection of 6 operators rather than the whole list for you to choose from, and it's the toughest content. We tried this the other day. You can see on the right hand side of the screen there, I only got 31,000 XP, got into the silver class, but I only had one of these operators at 10. The rest are at 5, 4, 6 there. And again, it's got to be done in a team of 3. You will matchmake if you haven't got a team of 3. And there's 9 objectives overall to go through. And the idea is to get through all of them. But these are not easy. Stealth is definitely going to be key, but the game wants you to understand every single mechanic, how you can get through each of these objectives stealthily, and how you can best manage them. And the best thing with this mode is while it's on countdown for that week, it's the same thing every time you go in. So this isn't randomized. You've got 9 objectives that will play out exactly the same. And the idea is to start from like 0, go through as many objectives you can and learn them. And across the week, hopefully you can learn all 9 and go through with your friends to get all 9 objectives complete and get yourself into the diamond class. Now, you're not going to do that with a selection of operators like I've got here. So you are going to want to level up every single operator that you can. And that does bring me on to some hints and tips for you now to close off this video on how best you can go through this game and get the most out of it. And the first thing you want to do is just play the game, aim to level up, aim for those studies as well. Make sure you're focusing on them. But the most important thing is getting these operators leveled up. You want to get them all unlocked, and you want as many operators at level 10 as you can get. Once you've got a few that are 8+, the assignments are going to become your best friend for getting XP. And then once you have a lot of operators at 10, hopefully on one of those protocol resets, the 6 operators that they want you to use are all level 10. And it's not just you that you're going to want to do this with. You're going to want friends or other people that are doing this too, because as I said, you've got to be in a team of 3. They are going to have use of the same operators as you, and you want as many ready for that as possible in order to be able to tackle that and complete all 9 stages. And that's kind of like what your aim is at the very end of the game. And I'll refresh every week with a different challenge every week. So make sure you're doing that. Just work on getting everything leveled up and just get used to the game. Practice, practice, and practice, and you'll learn the mechanics. You'll learn how to get through each area, and you'll become more familiar with them. I also have some settings tips for you as well to make things a little bit easier for you for sure. But the number one thing is make sure we're communicating. This is cross-play. Have a mic on. On PC, you can do push to talk. But if you're on console, make sure that you can communicate with others. Communication is going to be very key. There's going to be nothing worse than someone in your team just getting spotted all the time and making things difficult for you. You're not going to get as much XP as you can, and you're better running solo if people are doing that. You want to work together as a team. You want to make sure everybody's on the same page, and you want to communicate. Other things you can do in these settings to make things a tad bit easier is if we head over to controls, make sure, as always with any game, especially if you're on keyboard and mouse or even controller, to be fair, get all your sensitivity settings sorted. You can decide whether to hold or toggle on a few things to set them up to your liking as well. If you're on controller, make sure that you have the aim assist on. This is quite overpowered on games as of late, and it's the same with this. Aim assist is really going to help. Definitely have this on unless you fancy a bit more of a challenge. And going over to interface here, what I did to make things a little bit easier, it is under accessibility, some of the settings, but this one at the top, HUD, definitely have pink crosshair enabled. That's going to help you point stuff out to your team and then point stuff out to you. And down under accessibility, they give you this show HUD audio pointers. I put this as visible, and what this does while you're playing, you'll notice those like little notification bell symbols around my crosshair. It's going to alert you the direction of something that you need to be alerted to, you know. It could be something you need to find, it could be aliens. You'll also see footsteps on it as well, so it shows you the direction of the footsteps. It does get a little bit confusing sometimes if they're elevated, if they're upper floor or below a floor, say, but if you're communicating with your team and sometimes you might have the game sound a little bit lower, these visual pointers are very, very beneficial. And that is practically Rainbow Six Extraction. I wanted to give an overview and a little bit of a beginner's guide today. I hope it helps helping you make a decision for you if you were thinking about getting this game or not and you're on the fence. I highly recommend it. I'm having a ton of fun on it. As I said at the start of the video, my best explanation is kind of like a World War Z type of game, but with its own style, its own gameplay. It's very much stealth, falls in line with Tom Clancy games about stealth and teamwork. It's all about that, especially on the harder difficulties. And just to recap very briefly before the end, your aim is just to go through these missions, complete them 100% by completing objectives. It's so replayable with different incursion objectives added and given to you all of the time, and you just want to get to that end game where you can do assignments and the protocol. That protocol is the toughest content in the game, and every week that's going to refresh with new challenges. So once you get all of your operators to level 10 and you're ready to take on that every week, your aim at the end of the game is going to be to complete the protocol with the highest score possible every single week. And obviously it'll be good to help others get to that stage as well. You know, it's always good to help. And just to end on that, if you do want help with this game, if you're looking for a team to play with, this is cross-platform, so many people are available to you. Cross-platform is done very, very well. The in-game chat is good as well. Visit our community. A lot of us are playing it right now. It's linked down in the video description. We have a channel open for you to go and look for a group and play with others. I'm also hoping to help people myself in future streams. I'm seeing kind of like my content on this game. I've got a few videos that I want to make in terms of guides and whatnot, and then going forward, once it's all done and I'm at end game, I'm thinking about streaming the protocol assignments or missions every single week, seeing how far we can get. I'll be looking for people that are sort of at the same level of me to do that with, so look out for those posts in the community too if you want to run with me on stream. I really love this game, can't recommend it enough, especially if you got the Xbox Game Pass. Is it worth £50? I don't know. I think this game's got a few hundred hours of great gameplay in. I'd like to see further DLC added in the future with more locations, more objectives added and things like that. But as a game that's just released, is very, very solid. I highly recommend that you play it, and I'm sure as hell really enjoying it. But that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you for watching this today. Don't forget to like and share to support it. Subscribe if you're new here. Until the next video, thank you for watching. Stay safe and peace out.